My name is Adam Kubler, the Employment Services Coordinator at the New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities. Thank you for joining us. For everyone, disability or no, employment is a key component in achieving quality of life. Since declared by the governor in 2012, New Jersey has been deemed an employment-first state. This declaration, among other initiatives, assumes that people living with disabilities can and should work. The sentiment aims to guide service design and policymaking to that end moving forward. In an effort to feature some of the progress that has been made, I'm very excited to introduce to you an accomplished panel of employed people living with disabilities. The members of this panel have generously donated their time here to share stories of employment with the intent to encourage others to pursue competitive, integrated employment for themselves. So without further ado, I'm going to let our panelists actually introduce themselves. And so they'll be letting us know their name, where they work, and the position title. So we'll start with. So no particular order. Robert, how about you go first?
My name is Robert. I work for the New Jersey Division of Developmental Disabilities in the Department of Human Services. And I work in the Office of Transition to Adult Services and Employment Unit as a resource and information specialist.
Great, thanks, Robert. Next, we have Ryan.
Hi, my name is Ryan Keefe, and I actually started my brand new adventure at an 8-hour full-time position at Wookif Lake Health and Rehabilitation Center through Family of Caring. I work as a recreation aide for activities.
Great, thanks so much, Ryan. And then Gigi.
Hi, my name is Gianna. I am an administrative assistant, and I work at the ARC of New Jersey in North Brunswick and Insurance Solutions and Services Incorporation, which is an insurance company in Edison, New Jersey.
Awesome, great. Thanks so much. We're so glad to have you guys. So now we're going to have a sequence of questions here. Just let us know a little bit more about working and what it means to you and how it's possible in your life. So the first question we're gonna ask is, tell us a little bit about the path you took to get to the current job that you're at now. And we can start same order. I'll start with Robert.
Here's how I got my job with the New Jersey Division of Developmental Disabilities. And I should give you a brief background. I used to work for the Department of Treasury prior to coming to the Department of Human Services. And I found out about the job through DDD, that I joined the mentoring program through the Department of Treasury, and I networked with somebody in the Council on Developmental Disabilities. And we talked, and I exchanged my resume. He passed it along to the Department of Human Services. The next thing I got an interview. Then I had to wait, then I had to do another interview, because with the state, every time they do a new job posting, everybody who applies has to get an interview, even though the state knows who they're going to pick for the position anyway. By union rules, they have to give everybody an interview. And so after 3 or 4 interviews, I got the job. See, I didn't start working. I got hired in August of 2019. That's when I got the job. I didn't officially transfer from the Department of Treasury until November of 2019. And ever since then, I've been working for DDD.
Okay, so Ryan, tell us a little about how you got to the position you're in today.
I actually got into the position in the healthcare field because, it was really important to me. It's at a diaphragm of great importance in how I want to follow my parents' footsteps, along with my older brothers, especially his wife, my sister-in-law, and my wife. They both are registered nurses, and being in the healthcare field, especially serving the needs of patients, it's something that I want to do. Corporate from my previous job at the Witcher Center, I was given a letter by the center executive director, and they told me they actually are cutting my hours from 18 to 15 hours, and I wasn't really happy about it. So I actually went on to find another job in the healthcare field. I really became acquainted at my brand new job at Wookif Lake Health and Rehabilitation Center. And, it's been 2 months for me, and this is actually a full-time job. I'm happy. and especially like really making the residents feel a lot more happier, full of smiles on their faces, especially dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia and along with health illnesses as well. And it's awesome. Mhm.
Great. Great. And so, and I'll ask the same question here. How did you, Gianna, get to, I know you have two positions right now. How did you get your most recent one? I believe it's at the ARC.
It is at the ARC, yes. So what happened was I knew this guy named Joe Mancini, and he was on the board of trustees for this thing called Williams syndrome. And I have Williams syndrome, so I met him through the organization, the Williams Syndrome Association, and he, was looking around and stuff. He was trying to find jobs and things like that, and he was really good friends with Celine Fortin, who is my boss. So we talked to her, and he got me an interview with them, and then I got the job. So yeah, I really love it.
Great. Yeah. And, I'm hearing a theme here, which is that it's always good to network, whether you're working or whether you're not. It's always good to talk to folks because you never know who's in a position to hire. And that could be taking advantage of you in the future. So that's great. So this one, it's a little more about the benefits here. So my question here is just in general, employment, like working. What does working do for you? Why should someone be employed? Go ahead, Robert. You can go first.
I think the reason why somebody should be employed if they're able to work, because not everybody's able to work, and I would just want to throw it out there. But if you are, well, most people are able to work, but I'm just saying the benefits of being employed is you get to be more self-sufficient, you get to have control over your funds, and you don't have to depend on the government or a check once a month to take care of you. Your funds aren't limited if you work.
Sure.
Plus,
yeah, it makes total
the fact
sense.
and plus the fact is you get better benefits if you're working. You get better health insurance, plus you get Medicaid. Because now there's no income limit for Medicaid with NJ workability.
And you're paying into the Social Security. So retirement is in the cards as well. So it's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're working full time, but if you're working part time, that's what you have to think about. If you're working part time, is this job going to help me lead me to where I want to go? Because well, I'm just going to explain to you the difference between a job and a career. A job is something that's done for pay and it doesn't have any benefits. Now, a career is something you have to plan for, and that's where all the benefits come in, like medical, dental, pension, 401k, depending on the employer. That's when all that good stuff comes in at. And I tell people all the time when I give my presentations, you have to think about what you want to do for the rest of your life while you're still young. Because when you're young, you don't want to stay at Walmart or Target until you're 40 or 50 years old, because Walmart or Target are not really considered careers. They're just jobs, because they don't offer any benefits unless you're a manager. And nobody wants to stay at Walmart or Target for the next 20 or 30 years and hopefully become a manager, while they could be doing something that's more fulfilling and more worthwhile.
Great. And it's the same question. Moving on to Ryan, what does employment do for you? Why be employed?
It gives me a brand new, better opportunity to pretty much expand my aspirations. Really, that means like go after your dreams and chase it. And especially when working in a job, you consider saving your money as pocket, so that way when you go out for restaurants once a day or even shopping online or whatever, Yeah.
Answer. And then Gianna, what does employment do for you? Why work?
Well, let me see. I think not only working helps benefit the person who's actually working, because you're learning new skills every day at your job. So like, for instance, the ARC of New Jersey and the insurance company, I'm both the administrative assistant. I never had administrative assistant positions until I got those two jobs. So I'm learning a lot about myself, but I'm also helping other people, and I really love helping other people. So it doesn't really matter what way or what I do, as long as I'm helping people and they're happy, then I'm happy too.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. So the next question here is a little bit more specific. So what, everybody, disability or no, has some type of a system or support system that really helps them be employed in one way or another. Robert kind of started on some of it here, where he mentioned that about benefits, and navigating that by yourself is virtually impossible. And so there are different types of supports that can help people with that. So with that kind of as an example, are there any types of supports, formal or not? So it could be something like a job coach, or it could be something like a family member or a neighbor or whatever. Are there any supports, if any, that really help you work, like to help you be able to work? So we'll do the same order. Go ahead and start with Robert. Robert, are there any types of supports that you might use?
Try to use NJ Workability. I use NJ Able when I can put some money aside, because I have so many responsibilities. It's hard for me to save. So that's why I developed a budget, and that's why I decided to pay my bills first, and then I decided to shop less. I go to, instead of me going to ShopRite or Wegmans or Whole Foods, sometimes I go to Aldi or Grocery Outlet, the cheaper stores. But sometimes I may not be able to find anything, all the stuff that I need at the cheaper store. So I have to go to ShopRite, Aldi, because sometimes, being that I'm on a special diet, sometimes I have to go to the other stores, which makes it more complicated. Because, and really, and plus I have DDD services to kind of help me balance things out. If I need somebody to talk to, I have a community-based supports person, and I have a support coordinator. And of course, I'm also eligible for the Traumatic Brain Injury Fund, because I suffer from a traumatic brain injury, and also have support from the TBI fund until my funds run out.
Great. Okay, cool. Ryan, are there any supports you use to help you work?
Well, actually, just to tell you the truth, I have an unlimited amount of natural supports. I actually have a lot for my family. I have so much for my friends. I know last year when I actually had an incident in my job, especially when an infection, especially when dealing with, a female resident with dementia, I know I was kind of like, using so much of my behavior that I actually had from special ed. But, I know that I shouldn't be doing that. You can't win with dementia. So I kind of made a big deal, and I posted on my phone, and one of my friends actually noticed my situation, and he kind of cheered me up. And I had to really be careful what I post on my phone. And yeah, of course. And then actually the former director of admissions noticed that as well. And then I had to talk with the administrator and along with the HR as well. I wasn't in trouble. They were super concerned about my situation I had at my previous job at the Whitford Center. So I have a lot of, like I said, I have a lot of unlimited supports, either for my family or friends,
Exactly. Cool. All right. And then Gianna, are there any supports, if any, that you depend on to be able to work?
Well, my other job, I would say, I guess he's part of the family. Not technically my family, but I consider him family. So my other boss, at my other job, at the insurance job, his name's Frank, and his daughter's daughter has Williams syndrome. And we met him at a conference one time, and he wanted to know how people with Williams syndrome would work. He wanted to see how people with Williams syndrome would work in an office. So he gave me the job, and because of him, I am forever grateful, and I'm learning a lot at that job. So, and my
great.
family, my family and friends, and my best friend, and everyone that I've known my whole life, even if I'm just meeting them, a couple years or whatever, they got my back. So, and you also, you've been there to support me and help me get through the first couple months of my new job at the ARC. So thank you very much, Adam. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and really what I'm hearing here, which is kind of an interesting theme, is how much of the support you guys mentioned is not what a lot of people envision, which is that it's on the job. A lot of this has to do with what's off the job, and that work-life balance, and learning how to navigate that. Really the whole point, of some of this too, is that disability or no, these are things we all need to work on, and things we all need help with from one time or another. And so that's really interesting to hear that all the answers here really have a lot to do with what's going on outside of the actual time that you're working. It's kind of insightful there. So thank you for those answers. The next one question is actually a little bit about what maybe some advice that you guys could give. So what advice would you give to someone who lives with a disability who says they're thinking about working? Where the heck should they start? What, like, doesn't have to be necessarily advice for the entire life continuum, but just what is the first place, the first thing you should do if you're thinking about looking for work? So go ahead, Robert.
Well, I would start by telling the person that, hey, I think you should do an assessment of your abilities to find out exactly what you're good at. But you never know. You may decide you want to do one job and kind of find out when you do an assessment, you actually qualify for a number of different jobs. So keep that up. You should keep that in mind too. And you should also take your disability into consideration too. Like if you have sensory issues, you may not want to work in a department store or a fast food restaurant where there's high traffic. You may want to work in a quiet setting, like an office, for example, and maybe in a bank where isn't that much traffic. And plus, I'll take into consideration, I'll tell them to don't let their disability define who they are. They're individuals, and none of us are made perfect. We all have our good points, and we all have our bad points, but don't let the negative points, the negative stop you, like which they call deficits. Don't let it stop you. Just do your evaluation, do a self-assessment, and I tell the person with a disability, just because you're working with a job coach, don't let them talk you into taking a job that you really don't want, because that's a mistake that I made when I used to work with vocational rehab. No, they persuaded me to take a job in a store, and then me, like an idiot, I went ahead and took it, and then it didn't work out. And I wasn't aware of my disabilities back then. So for the people who are looking for jobs who do have a disability, take that into consideration and let them know that this is what you want. Don't let them don't let them bargain with you when it comes to your future and what type of job you want, because they don't have to work the job, you do. They may get the job for you, they're only going to be there a short time, but ultimately at the end, you have to try to make it work out, whether they're there or not. So it's best to try to make sure the job is a good match. And you don't have to, and just because a job coach gets you a job, you don't have to stay there for the rest of your life either. You have the option to move on just like everyone else, because nobody stays in a job their whole life, especially nowadays.
Yeah. Exactly. What a good answer. Thanks so much, Robert. So Ryan, same question for you. What if, what advice would you give to someone else living with a disability as far as just the first step?
Is to basically really understand and how to work with New Jersey's Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services, and to understand and how having a VR counselor, vocational rehabilitation by the way, and have it get in your foot in the door, and especially finding you an employment service provider that would definitely be fittable to your needs, and especially understanding where you want to go, where do you envision, especially what do you want to do, when you want to be, of what's your passion, what's your profession, what do you imagine yourself doing in 5 or 10 years. Always reach for the stars. Don't ever give up hope. Keep praying, and have patience. If you have to really have so much experience, either based on a student work experience or even do volunteer work, and then you'll definitely create so much of the as a resume, and it's really much more like a person-centered plan, so that way you sell your product to what and who you are. That's all. You have to be optimistic versus being pessimistic. So believe you can do it. Believe you have the power. You have the power. You have the authority. You actually have so much in charge, and you cannot let anybody derail you like that. No way, Jose. So that's what I do when it comes to really obtain competitive employment, and especially that you can do it. You have the ability. you'll actually have the capability. Just put a lot of energy and 50 cents to it. That's all. And I actually want to let all the true believers know, 2 words by Stan Lee, creator of Marvel Comics, that if you actually put your mind to it, and especially I was told by my phys ed teacher named Charlie Trenicosti that instead of saying can't, take the T and apostrophe away and make it into can. You can do it. And just like those 3 words from Nike, just do it. So yeah. That's all I have to say.
Cool. Thanks so much, Ryan. Gianna, same question for you. If somebody living with a disability says, you know, where should I start? What would your answer be? As far as starting to look for work, like let's say someone just says, you know, I want to look for work.
Well, you have to know what you're good at. You have to know what your skills are. And you have to be willing to try new things. Because that's kind of what I did. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I went and did things I've never done before. As I said before, in my two jobs I have now, I never knew what it would be like working as an administrative assistant until I started doing it. So try new things, you know, see what you like, see what you don't like, and don't give up, because there have been times, I think, where everyone has wanted to give up at some point in their lifetime within the job, but you just got to keep going and keep pushing. And, you know, Robert and Ryan nailed it when they said, you know, reach for the stars, you know, and just keep on going. You know, times may be rough at points, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You know, you have your whole life ahead of you. So if something doesn't work out, look for something else.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's endless opportunities out there.
Yeah, that's great. You know, and the theme that I hear from all of your answers is, one is taking control. I mean, you are in charge of what you're looking for, what supports you might need, who to talk to. You're the one in the driver's seat for this, and that's how people are successful, disability or no. And so, great. Well, good answers. So this is the final answer, or final question for our panelists tonight. Something kind of fun. If you could share with us, just like in a sentence or two, something cool that happened, or something fun, or something that you're proud of that happened at work relatively recently, that you found to be, you know, rewarding, or something that made you feel good about the job that you're doing. So I'll put you guys on the spot here. Robert, anything of late?
Hey, the latest thing I did was I gave a presentation at Middlesex County Community College, their transition program, which is the Compass program. And it's for students ages 18 to 24 who have an intellectual and developmental disability. And I shared my presentation called Preparing for a Bright Future, which is a presentation I do for DDD. And it talks about my experiences growing up as a person with a disability. And it talks about the services that are available and all the services that I utilized when I was coming up. And there's also some inspirational material in there as well. And it's geared toward all audiences, whether it's students, school personnel, and parents. So I just told the students, don't give up no matter what path they take. And even if they decide, well, I didn't say even if they decide not to stay in college, there's always opportunities. Because I've been told in the presentation that I dropped out of college and I didn't finish it because it was too hard. Even though I may be thinking about going back, but I'm not sure if I want to go back yet. Because see, and I have to go. There's one thing I'm trying to overcome, which is fear. And I'm not letting my past define my future. Even though I had a bad experience the first time in college, doesn't mean I should let that experience define me now, because with all the technological advances from when I first went to college, this second time, if I do decide to go back, should be a better experience. And I'll make sure I get the proper supports if I do go back. And I'm not going to take as many courses that I did before if I do decide to go back.
Sure. Cool. Thanks, Robert. So, and Ryan, same for you. In a sentence or two, tell us, you know, something recent that happened at work that you were proud of, or that went well, something like that.
My responsibilities on the third floor, long-term care, by the way, I actually supervise a lot of residents and especially in the day room. And I actually have to make sure it's my part to not have them fall. So I want to make sure they basically stay in the day room until a nurse aide comes. He actually got to hear stories from the HR regional manager at Family of Caring, and she said to me that I'm doing such a great job, being as a recreation aide, at Woodcliff Lake Health and Rehabilitation Center, and this is really such an honor. And yeah, especially like I do so much, collaboration, joint effort when, working together as a team. And those four letters I was told by a wise person goes like this: together, everyone achieves more. Hmm.
Wow, wow, great. That sounds like a big responsibility. Whew. And then finally, Gianna, in a sentence or two, what's something recent that happened at work that you're proud of or made you happy?
Well, I for the past 2 days, I have been cleaning out the copy room, and I was cleaning out one of the like cabinets. I don't know what you would call those things, the big cabinet things. I had to throw away junk and clean it out, and I did it for CJAP and the Family Institute and all that stuff. So I cleaned it all out, and then I showed the people that whose cabinet it was. I showed them that I cleaned it out, and they really thought I did a great job. And also the copy room where the brochures are and the papers and the staplers and everything. I cleaned that all up, and Celine, my boss, was very pleased with that. So yeah, those two are really nice things that I'm proud of.
Always good to hear that. Well, on behalf of the New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities, I really want to thank all the panelists here for sharing their stories in competitive integrated employment. I really hope that the viewers and listeners at home there have found them as inspiring as I. And if you would like to find out more about employment and resources for New Jerseyans living with disabilities, make sure you visit the New Jersey Council on Developmental Disabilities website, njcdd.org. Additionally, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to receive updates on issues impacting those living with disabilities and to receive our multi-format publications. We have ones that are electronic, we have ones we mail out. So please visit the website, subscribe to learn more. And, I just want to extend again, thank you so much to all my panelists. It was really great having you guys on. And good evening. Yeah. See you guys later.
Good one.